I'm Eric Loy, and welcome to Eric Loy Interviews. On this podcast, we talk with folks from the VTuber community on their channels, their talents, their stories, where they come from, and their plans for the future. We are joined by Abyssal Forge. Hi.
Hello.
Hey, please introduce yourself to everybody.
I'm Abyssal Forge, a Doulahan VTuber.
Okay, well, you have to explain that to me. Doulahan?
Headless Horseman.
Oh, I didn't know there was a name for that.
Yep, it's a Doulahan from Celtic folklore.
I need to brush up on my Celtic lore. I got some predecessors in that area. I would like to look up someday. So is that something that you're interested in, Celtic lore?
Yeah, Celtic folklore is a really interesting point for me because it's a part of my mother's side of the family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always something that no matter how far away the generation is, I think, from Ireland and the Irish culture, if you find out you've got a little bit of Irish in your family, you want to go see it.
Oh yeah,
I know. That's on the bucket list for me. I would like to go and see what it's like over there a little bit.
very much the same.
Absolutely. When did you get started with VTubing?
With VTubing, I started this year actually in January.
Oh, so how did it go when you first got on?
Well, it went pretty well. I got pretty far in, further than I thought, really quickly.
And so it was a good experience from the get-go.
Oh yes, oh yes. So technically, I did start in October of last year, but life situations made me have to step away from content creation for a little while.
Stupid life always gets in the way. But what made you start it in the first place?
Well, I wanted to give back because a little bit of a bit darker. In 2022, there was a really dark portion of my life, and a VTuber pulled me out of it. So I wanted to give back.
Ah, well, good. It's always good to give back to the community, and obviously you stuck with it, so you must be enjoying yourself.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
So what draws you to it now that you're in with both feet?
Well, I would say just sharing me, really.
Yeah, it is something to hear folks who say that, yes, I've got an avatar, yes, I've got this, that, and the other thing, but I get to be more myself than I ever get to be off of the screen.
Oh, yeah. In fantasy, like games and whatnot, I always end up making some sort of self-insert. So this is just how I usually do things.
So what type of games are you into? The fantasy caps?
Oh, yeah. Fantasy, some action, first-person shooters. I primarily play Monster Hunter and Souls games.
Boy, I tell you, if I was young and still had some Twitch muscles left in my hands and arms, I would. Monster Hunter looks like it would be a lot of fun.
Oh, I can't recommend it enough.
Well,
and there's a myriad of ways to play.
And it would also be very, very frustrating, and I would probably break at least 2 or 3 controllers at the same time.
No, for me, that would be the Dark Souls side of it.
So, when you go in there, are you going solo, or are you bringing somebody with you?
Well, it depends on what I'm doing. I switch it up in between. For example, before the Elden Ring DLC came out, I was helping people get through the mandatory bosses to enter the DLC.
Ah, okay. So you were being a guide.
Yes, I was being what the Souls community calls a sun bro.
I like that. Speaking of that Monster Hunter game, what is the thing that draws you the most to that particular game? Because a lot of people wait for any little reason to jump back into Monster Hunters.
For me, it would have to be the ecology of the monsters. Just watching them live in the world is really good. They do such a good job.
That is something I never thought of that, but watching people play and have them just kind of come up on the monsters as they're just doing their general daily thing, and have them immediately not, in the old days, every time you come up on two different monsters, they both team up and attack you.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's the old D&D thing where yes, the kobold and the gelatinous cube are both attacking you at the same time. But here you get them, either they might run away or fly off or not do anything, or it's
sometimes like back in Monster Hunter World when everyone was still going through that. When it first came out, there was this part where I went up into the Rathalos nest and it was sitting there grooming itself, and it let me just walk right up to it and pose for pictures. It was great.
This sounds kind of weird to say in the context, I guess, but it's realistic in that sense. You would think that you'd come up on, if you live in a world where there's monsters everywhere all the time, you would see that type of thing.
Oh yeah.
And again, seeing realistic when you're talking about some of these monsters, it's really stretching that word.
Yeah, it's yes, but also no kind of a situation, because you've got there was that island out by Japan direction that has all those deer on it, and they're used to people coming up and petting them.
Mm. Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, and
so
there's some other islands out there that end up being in movies that I enjoy.
Oh yes, yes.
Monster Island for one. Or some people call it Kong Island, I guess, but I call it Monster Island.
Oh, Skull Island.
Skull Island, yes. So apart from that, what are the other types of games you're playing right now?
Let's see. Like I said, Souls games.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Dark Souls, Elden Ring, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And any kind of Metroidvania I can get my hands on, particularly like Blasphemous and Hollow Knight.
Mm. So those are easy for you to stream, or are they easy for you to play? There could be a difference.
For me, it's kind of both, because I do little commentary on what I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, oh, that I don't remember that creature in that position. Or if, for example, I'm playing a Souls game and I'm doing PvP, I comment on how the opponent is doing, how I have to work around their moves and whatnot.
Mm. Well, have you had any type of background in like a radio or anything like that?
No, I have been told I've got the voice for it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking radio news guy when I'm here. Is this a fellow person who made no money in radio? But have you been someone who's been a public speaker or ever got out in front with a microphone?
No, I've been pretty much in my own shell, so to speak. I did for a little while do some voice work for the My Little Pony fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a little bit of voice work in the what do you call it? It's escaping me at the moment. The fanfic readings.
Mm. Yeah. Oh,
I would play characters here and there.
Oh, that's a good voice for it too. Yeah, that's a good instrument for that. I call that the instrument what it is. That's really. Are you thinking about doing some more voice work?
Well, I have been thinking about it. It has been something that I've toyed with for quite a while. Since the previous YouTube stuff, I had also thrown myself up on backstage.com for voice work over there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I actually auditioned for what is now the current voice of Fiddlesticks from League of Legends.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I had a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
didn't get it, but I had a lot of fun with it, and people seem to like my version of him.
That's cool. See, you got to always get out there with the voice. They've got to hear it first,
Oh yeah.
and they're not just gonna, unless you're already somebody who's got like unless you're Maurice LaMarche or somebody like that, you can
Yeah.
they're gonna know exactly what he brings to the table. But um, you have to get out there, and sometimes it's just a question of when you get it out there and who hears it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so keep it up. I'd like to hear you doing some more stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah,
Um,
the other thing I would like to toy around with is singing, but I've always been this is a thing I've been trying to shake off because for the majority of my life people have told me not to bother, but I want to try.
good on you. You try, because they they absolutely beg me not to do it. I tell them, and it's the absolute truth. I haven't hit a note on purpose since 1985.
Ooh.
Sometimes it accidentally hits, and I'm not sure it's the right one. But when the wife rolls down the window when you sing in the car, that's pretty bad news.
I've been there.
She does want to hear it. She does, especially when your wife sings a lot better than you. That drives me crazy. Um, the YouTube, the VTubing itself, and you mentioned how you got into it, but did it take,
Yeah.
once you turned on the microphone and you got into it a little bit, was it easy for you to adapt to it, or did it take a while to get used to the surroundings?
Well, I had been doing YouTube videos from October 2021.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a little bit of a practice of just yapping to myself in my room.
Right.
But yeah, there was a bit of nervous because, okay, now I've got eyes on me who can actively interact with what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah.
So there
And
was a little bit of a learning curve to that, but I'm enjoying the journey.
once you saw that there were people there, did your voice box tighten up a little bit, or did you? And how did it? What were you like? Were you introducing yourself? Were you doing a game at the time? And
I was the one point that sticks out to me is when I was playing Dragon's Dogma 2 when it came out. When I
Mhm.
was streaming it, and somebody had rated me with like 60 to 80 people, and I could actively feel myself shutting down when I saw that number go up. It was like, oh.
that's when you start shriveling up into a ball into the corner. Like, don't watch
Yeah,
me.
and I ended up panicking and raiding out to somebody right away.
Oh, well,
But
it happens. I mean, when you're not ready for it, you're not ready for it. That's all there is to it.
so to counter that, I turned my numbers off for active viewers so it doesn't get to me anymore.
That's good. Yeah, it for some people it works better to do it, and some people don't. It's this whole VTubing thing is a your mileage may vary situation.
Oh, absolutely. It's a unique experience for everybody.
Yeah, it really is. Some people they go into it to try to draw themselves out. Some people get into it just because they've seen other people do it. Um, your reason is pretty unique. Um, but what is it that's keeping you going with it? What is the one thing that brings you back to it?
The main thing that's keeping me going, though at the moment I'm on a hiatus,
Yes.
but I am coming back,
Yes.
is I've just watched the VTuber community and decided, okay, I have to be a spot that people can get away from the nonsense.
Hmm. Yeah, and I mean, there's as we record this, there's plenty of nonsense going on, and that's all I'll say. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
there is in the VTuber community too. You don't have to look too far to find it. But there is so many people, and there's so many opportunities to meet folks such as yourself, talented folks who enjoy themselves and enjoy having other people enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
There's some place you should be able to find some place to at least have on in the background.
Yeah, that's the precise reason why I keep streaming.
Well,
To
and
be that possible background noise for somebody.
Sometimes, I can tell you from radio experiences, sometimes that's all you get, but you take it. You absolutely take it. But being a comfortable space for somebody, you suddenly now get a bit of responsibility on you for what you're doing.
Oh, absolutely.
Now, how does that hit you?
I have a bit more of a protective nature, so it comes kind of naturally to me to be okay, everybody stand on my shoulders, let's get this done kind of a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it changes with success in any type of entertainment field, and this is definitely that.
Oh yeah.
Your outlook does change whether you want to or not, for the most part. You can really try to come in with you think you're being devil may care about the whole thing, but you start realizing that there are people that are relying on you to help them out of their day,
Absolutely.
Like you're getting your day helped out by being on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how when did that come to realize for you that you were doing exactly what you wanted with the channel, and people were starting to come in to make sure that they tuned into you?
Well, a bit of it started while I was still doing YouTube videos. Somebody had commented on specifically my laugh. They said it was a vibe. So I kind of wanted to keep pushing that forward. And then I see people come back to the stream. I recognize names. I might not say them outright because I'm afraid of messing it up.
Right.
But I do recognize the returning names, and I'm happy to see them.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to kind of tread lightly on that every once in a while, and just say something like, "Say hi, how you doing?" and welcome back, that type of thing. But now that you've been able to get your feet wet, are you comfortable with turning that microphone? I know you're on the hiatus for a while, but generally, are you comfortable with the microphone?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. For a while, it was a bit touch and go.
Yeah.
But as I kept going at it, it was like, for lack of a better word, it was like getting on a bicycle.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. I think if you've been on the microphone for any period of time, for me it was 35 years. I mean, that's one long bike ride.
Oh yeah,
especially because I couldn't afford a car. It becomes like second nature to you, because talking in a room by yourself when you know you're talking to somebody else, that's an experience that's hard to put into words and relate to somebody.
Oh yeah,
and when you're talking to somebody live. And folks should know I record all the interviews. So anytime I make a gigantic mistake, which does happen a lot, ask my wife. She'll tell you. I can edit it out, but live is a different story.
That was something I had to get used to very quickly.
Yeah. So when you goof in the live stuff, you goof, and it's going to stay there. And someone's going to hear you, but you have to power through it. You can either brush it off and ignore it and keep going, which isn't going to work, or you can play with it and own it and go from there. Has your chat been helpful, or do they roast you when something like that happens?
It's kind of both ways. We have fun with it.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with a genial roast now and again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. As long as you don't bring it up, 3 weeks later, the same type of thing. But
yeah, there's always limits to consider when teasing, right. But we like teasing.
Yeah. So with some regulars coming in and starting to, you get that base going. Have you got yourself a goal set here in the very near future, once you get back into streaming?
Once I get back, there's actually a couple things. My 2.0, I draw everything myself.
Oh.
So that's taking time.
Yeah.
And another big way, if you don't mind me announcing a little something right now.
Please do.
I'm going to be doing a project to be giving back to the VTuber community a bit bigger way than just pushing start stream. All I can say right now is the project name is The Forgeborn, but it's when I do come back with it, I'm confident that it's going to help out a bunch of people.
All right, so stay tuned, and we'll have to bring you back in when this gets rolling to talk about that. Now, I'm not going to.
Oh, I hope so.
I'm not going to try and weasel any more details out of you because I'm not that type of a media guy anymore.
Oh, thank you.
I've reformed since then.
Yay!
But yeah, that sounds like a really big project, and I hope that it does roll for you, because just in hearing you, just that little bit you said about it, it sounds like it means a lot to you.
Oh yes, I intend for it to be, again, lack for better words, to be my legacy in the VTuber community. It's something I'm going to be adding to as long as I am able to do so.
Cool, absolutely cool. Now, you said you did your own artwork for 2.0 coming up. Are you an artiste?
I wouldn't say artist. More than just slapping things together and hope it works. But yes, I have drawn all of my stuff up to this point, and I intend to continue to do so for 2.0.
Yeah. So you haven't done any formal training or anything like that?
No, I've just picked up a pen and went.
Well, that's the way you used to have it in the old days. We didn't have computers to write on.
Back in my day.
That's right. I used to use my own blood to write with. We didn't have anything else. Water, you couldn't see water, so you had to use blood. The fact that you're doing your own stuff makes it even more personal, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I'm seeing my improvements with each model, because this is my second model, the Doulahan. The first model that I did was like a undead lizard folk, mostly hiding behind a giant shield.
Yeah. Well, the giant shield does kind of help if you don't want to draw some things.
That was
like hands.
That was basically it. But
a peek behind the curtain.
But I had fun. I had fun with it.
Yeah. So what is the toughest part for you? Is when you're drawing
hands and feet.
Hands and feet. Yeah.
Well, for the first model, because of the longer face, I could not do head on for a longer face. For the life of me.
Yeah, it does look kind of funny if you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, so that's when I ended up switching over to this model to have more of a flat face, so I could be more straight on instead of to the side all the time.
So did you have any with the new model coming up, any inspirations, or was this what you wanted to do with the model in the first place?
No, it was definitely changes and more inspirations. A little bit of The Witcher, a little bit of Monster Hunter, a bit more of Elden Ring and Souls games.
Yeah, so your games, the games that you've been playing, piqued your interest enough to draw somebody for it.
Oh, absolutely. I've been is showing my age. I've been playing Monster Hunter since it came out on the PS2 in 2004.
That's not age. That's not age. No. Age is being able to tell you that I had an original Pong from Sears. That's age. Where I was.
Oh yeah, I had those too.
Yeah. we were the big part of the neighborhood. We had one of those.
Yeah. Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, I am turning 35 this month.
So well, you're still a young whippersnapper. I remember when I was 35. I think I was 35 years old then. Oh, uh, the one thing I can talk with you about this because I think it's funny that
Yeah.
people don't understand is that not everybody who plays games is a teenager
Oh
or
yeah.
even 25. I mean, you're in your 30s. I'm in my late 50s, and
Oh.
I mean, I was there for the original stuff, and I've played ever
Oh
since.
yeah.
You know, I
You were there for the good stuff.
well,
You got to watch it all.
I got some good and some really bad in the meantime, but you know,
E.T.
yeah. No, I avoided that one. Thank you very much. Maybe my cousins
Good.
had it, but my cousins had it, but I didn't. But there's most of the at least the United States, and I can't say for the world has had dealing with gaming in at one point or another, playing it, um, and it kind of makes me laugh when I hear the younger folks say that all the folks of this generation don't know what we're talking about. Hey, we made that.
Yeah.
I had to straighten out my 8-year-old grandson. He was playing a Mario game, and
Oh.
yeah, we were, and of course, being the dutiful grandfather I am, I was losing every time. And he turned to me and said, "Well, it looks like I own you."
Oh, that's when you leaned forward in the gaming chair.
Yeah, I said, "Boy, time to go back to the shed." And
Do not cite the deep magic to me. I was
yes,
there when it was written.
I provided the ink, and we played another version of this, and I was beating him so bad he turned it off. Yeah, I said, "Hey, I beat the original, okay? I beat it."
Yeah.
So you wanna awaken the dark demons inside? Go right ahead.
I beat this when the motto was "You didn't beat it, you just got better every time."
Yeah, it was 4 o'clock in the morning when I beat that sucker, and I had to be at work by 7. But then again, he plays Minecraft, and I can't go on there with him anymore because the only thing I can do is kick his sheep to death. So there is that. But with how games have progressed, have you found it easy to keep up with how all the twitch muscle moves that need to be done?
For the most part, but I can definitely feel stuff getting a little out of my reach.
Yeah, that's tough to tell people. Yeah.
I mean, for example, my first playthrough of Elden Ring,
Mm-hmm.
I barely ever jumped because my muscle memory was, oh, this is a Souls game. There's no jump button.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I can jump. Oh, okay. Well, it makes
So I missed out on so many things on my first playthrough because I just didn't jump over the wall.
It's like my first playthrough of Fallout 3. I went through the whole game and never got a place to keep my stuff. And I found out that you can get this and you can keep your stuff there. I'm like, well, that would have made it a lot easier.
Yeah, that would have been helpful hours ago.
Yeah. When I started this thing, it would have been helpful. So are there any games coming out that you're really looking forward to?
Fable, the reboot of Fable. I am very, very excited for that. And Monster Hunter Wilds, of course.
Well, yeah,
but Fable.
Fable.
It's an old favorite.
Yeah, that was going back there a ways. Are they redoing the entire game, or are they just reskinning it in a way?
From my understanding, from what I saw, I could be wrong, but it looks like an honest, full-on reboot.
Mm.
And from the combat that they showed off, because they did show some in-engine combat, like actual gameplay, they changed up quite a bit. It's got, I don't like using the word much, but realistic combat.
Yeah.
Because you do see the main character at some point do a specific move from HEMA. That's historical martial arts with swords.
Mm-hmm.
Where she grabs the blade of the sword and uses the pommel as a mace against somebody.
Wow.
So it's going to be good.
I can tell people this very honestly. If I had ever done that in my life and been able to pick up a sword and did something like that, I would be very fingerless.
Yes, you have to grab the blade a very specific way and swing a very specific way to make it work. But
plus, I would have quite likely knocked myself in the head in the process. Roll a natural 0.
Yeah. Oh, there went my thumb.
Oh yes, that's okay. That's okay. I've got a healing potion. It'll come back hopefully. So with everything that's going on now, and you are taking a little time off.
Yes.
So when do you have a date in mind when you want to come back?
I want to try to come back in January.
Yeah.
I should. Two-story tall concrete quotation marks on the should.
Yeah.
Be ready for everything by then.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to press you for any reasons or anything, but
oh no, it's I'm very fine with talking about that. I've noticed that my mental has been spiraling and I need to get a better handle on it. And as said, I'm drawing all my own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I want enough time to get everything ready.
Yeah, that's good. Take care of yourself first. And you'll come back stronger and ready to go, and then in about 3 days you'll be wondering why you even came back. I mean, you'll be ready to go, and it'll work out just perfectly.
Yup.
Why am I doing this again? Oh, yeah, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
But everybody needs to take breaks or something like this and remind themselves why they're doing it a little bit, and if it's getting to be too much, step away a little bit for a while.
Taking a step back and taking a breath is always very important. I know that in this space I see it a lot on social media where people are scared to step away because they're afraid they're going to lose their momentum or something is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion of it, your viewer base, your fan base wants you to be healthy and happy. So taking the step back is a good idea.
Yeah, and at least the viewer base that you want to keep.
Oh yes, the core viewer base.
If somebody's gonna spin out on you because of that, then maybe you don't necessarily want them back right away. So
let them find someone that suits them better.
Yeah. It is a two-way street. Well, I certainly hope that it goes quick for you, as far as how much you need to go, and that when you come back, you're full strength and ready
meet my deadlines.
Full strength and ready to swing that sword from the wrong end.
Indeed. But that was another thing I wanted to touch on was I see a lot of people talking about fast growth lately, and I kind of prefer the way that I've gotten it. I've gotten the slow and steady route. I think I like that better.
Yeah. And some people don't have a choice in that matter because things happen.
Oh, sometimes they just blow up. Yeah. They go viral and...
Or the other way around. They'd like to have it a little faster, but it's just not hitting on all cylinders yet. And you don't have that momentum that you talked about before. But
my mindset has always been... the slower growth will help counter, because I see some people that go viral, they let it go to their heads.
Oh yeah.
Really fast. And for me, my mindset is if I go slow, I can temper that.
So what you're saying is you're keeping us safe from you.
Basically. I'm keeping myself safe from me. from my flapping mouth.
Well, that saves all of us. What a hero!
Yes.
We were talking with Abyssal Forge. We're going to have all of the links in the description for the interview. Remember that they're going to take a couple of months, looks like, off. But when you get back, let me know so we can do some updates and get everybody up to date on what you've got planned, because it sounds like you got some good stuff coming.
Oh, absolutely.
And I want to hear more about that big deal.
Oh yeah, the Forgeborn.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that sounds like it's going to be pretty amazing. Thank you so much for coming on. It's great to meet you.
Oh, it was a pleasure talking to you as well.
Thank you for listening to Eric Loy Interviews. Join us again next time when we talk to another member of the always interesting VTuber community.